Alrighty, hello. So on today's installment of my handy dandy channel here, I'm going to be showing you how to replace a pull string on a fan. I've already taken apart a little bit of the fan here before I started. It's a pretty quick and easy fix, but to people that aren't really adept at taking the stuff apart and afraid to do it, might be a little bit challenging. So all you need is a screwdriver for this one. I turned the power off just to the switch. So I have both switches off, and I know that they're not getting power because A, the fan's not on, and if it was on to begin with when the pull string was broken, it would remain on unless switched off, or the lights would be on. Now I can pull that and turn them on, but for all intents and purposes the power is off. If I was I wanted to be a little more cautious, I could switch off the breaker to my bedroom here, but I'm not going to do that. I'll show a brief video on how breakers work after this is all said and done. So, like I said, quick pull down here. This part here, and it's different for every fan. Don't be afraid to take things apart, and that's, I think, the number one rule of. And I got kids in the background yelling at each other. Sorry. Number one rule about general home repair and stuff: don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and take things apart, because at the worst, if you mess it up enough, you can call a professional to get it fixed. So, but at least you gave it the old college try and attempted to fix it yourself, and you know, more often than not, you're lucky and it works out. So, so here's the pull string assembly. It contains what looks like a capacitor of some kind, or yeah, I have no idea what this does. Anyway, here's the pull string assembly here, and the pull string goes in this little hole here, and my son ripped it out, so I got to replace it. So I'm going to start by, so I pulled this whole thing down here after removing two bolts that were holding it in place. Very simple, and that, like I said, this is you know, fan to fan, it's going to be different as to how to access this. Some fans you might have to pull the whole thing off, in which case, you know, if I had to pull the whole thing off and take it apart, you know, I would start by taking apart the harness bolts there, and it looks like this one's attached by actually taking that bolt out there and then turning this one over to the side. So it looks like this one's made for easy mounting. I don't know, I didn't install this fan, it came with the house. This is the first time I'm taking it apart. So yeah, so right now what I want to do is I'm gonna disconnect these leads here. So positive, red for positive, black for negative, and there should be a ground somewhere, other than gray for ground here. So I'm gonna pull those guys out, and I'll take this guy to my workbench. All right. Okay, hello. I'm taking this thing down to my workbench here in my garage, and what I'm gonna do is, I can't, you know, and a lot of, like I said earlier, a lot of what I do, like when I'm doing handiwork around the house and stuff, I'm kind of just flying by the seat of my pants, to be honest. People always ask me, you know, I'll tell them, you know, I'll go to work or something, and I'll say, you know, I did so and so over the weekend, and a lot of people always ask me, like, how do you know how to do this stuff? I have sources. You know, I do my research on stuff sometimes, if need be. I go on Google, and just look up problems. You know, and the internet is an invaluable source of information. to help fix stuff. But a lot of the stuff, you know, sometimes you don't have the time, or I don't know, you just don't feel like looking it up and trying to tackle things on your own. So I just kind of go by the seat of my pants. I did look up what this was. This is in fact a capacitor for the unit, and it doesn't look like it's smoked, you know, been smoked or anything like that. So it looks like it's still good. So I'm not going to mess with opening this at all. This is the unit I'm interested in, and this is where I'm going to be putting the pull string on. Now I can hear, if I rattle it a little bit, I can hear the other end of the string still caught in there. So the key is going to be opening this guy up. Now, if someone put this, you can see seams along it. Someone had to have constructed this to begin with. So if someone was able to construct it and put it together, it means that it can be taken apart. That's kind of the crux of a lot of stuff. There's no rocket science involved in this, even though, going back to what I just said, you know, even rockets are built by people. You know, everything's made by people, and I don't believe that anything is unfixable because of that. I mean, you know, everything's pretty much made to be worked on by someone. Whether you're an expert at it or not is a different story. But like I said before, if you break it, hey, I'm sure I can find something like this on Craigslist or eBay or just going to the store. Hell, if things don't work out, guess what? I get to go buy a new fan for my room. So it never hurts to try, unless you're, you know, in a bind for time or anything. So I'm going to adjust the camera in a second here to kind of illustrate my thought process on doing this kind of stuff. And like I said, just that's the key to it, really. It's just kind of just diving in and working on it. We're down here at my workbench right now, and I feel that a workbench is indispensable for doing home repairs, and keeping an organized workbench is I can't even describe how invaluable that is to help out with things. So I'm going to kind of go over my own workbench and work area after we're done with this, as kind of a separate video, just to kind of illustrate and show people that are trying to get into do-it-yourself work how I do it, and how I'm sure a lot of do-it-yourselfers do it. It's a workbench is just invaluable. Yeah, it's really hard to work on projects, even large ones. Like, you know, I'm not going to be putting, you know, 4x8 pieces of plywood on my workbench to saw or anything. I have saw horses for that. But even then, like, it's just a place to organize your thoughts and your tools and stuff. So it's a very useful thing to have and keep organized. So anyway, we'll get to this guy here in a moment here. So let me just adjust the camera. So I've adjusted the camera. I'm going to turn my light switch on here to get some more light going. There we go. Actually, let's get some more light here. You can never have enough light. Good. Okay, so just looking at this piece here and how to open it, I already see that there's, I don't know how well the camera sees that or not. The angle here. There's 3 tabs here, here, and here. And it looks like they're just clips. There's no seam at the base here of these clips, but the seam does start here at the joint, and it runs the whole way up and clips over. So my first guess is that it's a clip, and I can't get it with my fingernails, so I'm going to take a flathead screwdriver and hold this guy down a little bit and see where I can get with that. And it's probably going to take me a little bit of time here to get this open without breaking. And my goal is not to pull these back so far as to snap them, but I'm essentially going to be trying to, and you know, this plastic might get torn up a little bit inside. Another thing about home improvement projects, it doesn't matter what the piece looks like inside in the end. It's what it looks like on the outside. This is going to be inside the fan. I don't care what this plastic shell is going to look like. You know, I can scratch it all up and whatever. I don't give a crap about what that looks like. My goal is function for this and not form, not looks. So I don't care. Even if I break these tabs, it's not the end of the world yet. I can use duct tape to fix them again. I can glue them back together with some JD Weld or something. It's not the end of the world if this breaks. So like I keep reiterating, do not be afraid to break stuff. It will happen. It doesn't matter if it happens because you can always, worst comes to worst, you could always hire a professional to fix your mistakes for you. You know, that's a complete worst case scenario, or you can just buy a new unit. And guess what? You get an experience of installing that new unit yourself. So never worry about breaking stuff. So I'm not gonna waste people's time by, you know, showing the video on how I'm prying these open here, but I can see right off the bat, pulling this guy out, I already got this guy up. So I'm gonna hold him with my finger and pull the whole unit up a little bit to get him off his hinge. And well, maybe I can do the same. Another thing I'm just thinking of right on the fly here, because this guy's loose, maybe I'll get like I have a little piece of metal. I have my little scrap metal drawer here. I can maybe get a piece of scrap metal and kind of just shove it in there to keep him from clipping back in while I'm working the other ones. There's a whole array of things I can do here. Let's try the scrap metal here. So it's a little piece of galvanized scrap metal here. Just gonna shove him there. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna stay that. No, he's not gonna stay that long. So. We got this guy open. There we go. Okay, I got the unit open actually. No need to do that. So I'm going to pull this open slowly in case there's a spring or something in there. I don't think there is, but okay. So I want to be careful because I have, okay, I want to make sure I don't lose these leads now. I have these leads in here, and I don't want them to get. Let me shove this guy back in a little bit. I'm using my tool here to function as a tool and push something down. So I open this guy up, and again, flying by the seat of my pants. I have no idea what to expect. It looks like this here is the spring assembly for the unit. There is no actual spring, but you can see the tension is drawn. You can immediately see that. There's some pieces of bent metal here, and you can see the tension is drawn by that bend. And this part here, it looks to me like it rotates, so that's where you get the drawstring tension when you're pulling on the drawstring. And you hear that when you're pulling it. That's it. Whoop! And this guy just popped out on me. I'm going to slowly pop him back in the direction he was. And the way I know he's going to fit back in is I have this other side here too. Whoa. Be careful. This illustrates a good point. Be careful when you're working with capacitors. They hold charge. I just unplugged this guy. He's not plugged in at all, and he just discharged. That was really stupid on my part not to have discharged him. I was not thinking about that. Be careful when you're working with electricity, period. It can be dangerous. I generally know what I'm doing with electricity, but sometimes, when I'm making a video or something like that, my judgment lapses. So I'm trying to fit this guy back in here. Okay, I got him back in. Now I'm going to put that lead back in. Or actually, I'm not going to worry about the lead right now. I'm gonna leave that alone for now. Well, yeah, there we go. All right. So that part I don't want to worry about anymore as far as anything else goes. I want to worry about this part here. And there is a spring indeed. Right in here. There's a spring holding the assembly. And that's what's giving the tension on these clips when you put it back in. So you want to be careful. I'm going to be careful when I'm pulling this out. And it looks like this washer here has 4 points when you're putting the assembly back on, so you just want to be careful about orientation. I know I'm going to want to be careful about orientation. Here is the spring assembly here. Let me get the light to shine better here. Whoops, sorry about that. There we go. Okay, so I have a spring here holding this, and I'm kind of keeping a mental note as to how everything's in place here. Okay, so I got this part here. I saw this ridge part here touching one of these guys, one of these parts here under the spring, and here is the pull string itself. I'm going to run upstairs and get a new pull string in a second here. I forgot to get the other one, but it looks like that pull string was just wrapped around, was just coiled around the spring here to hold it together. So I'm going to turn the camera off in a second here and get the remaining pull string. Depending on how bad it was broken, I might just go to like Home Depot or Lowe's and get a new string. But so let me just go get that quick. All right, I've been playing around with this for a little bit here. So I figured out the assembly, and again, this is something that I do whenever I'm fixing something that I have no idea where I'm going with or anything, or even know. So this main, but I know what the function is. I want this to do. Okay, I want this piece here in this piece here, right there. And now, just thinking about it, in space here. Okay. What do I want this to do? When I pull on it, I want this to move forward, obviously, right? Now, I need tension in order for it to retreat back to its position. That's where you get the click, click, you know. There's a little assembly here, or little grooves here on the edge of this piece here, and that's what rotates this guy here. He's got, it kind of works like the inside of a pen. You know how you click on a pen and it goes up and down? Same deal here. You have those grooves, they fit into each other, and that force that you put on the string here, it pulls the tab forward, pulls these teeth over here, pulls the teeth here, and that switches on or off. That switches the fan on or off, and that's what the leads are doing there. It moves the lead. It moves the wire, or the electricity position, the wire position, to either on or off. Either completes the circuit or breaks it when you're doing that. And that's the black lead here is on the bottom. It's connected to the unit here, and then the red lead, or the gray lead, then goes on the top here. So I figured out, this spring here serves a twofold purpose. It puts tension on the whole assembly and keeps this flat down on this guy, but it also provides the tension. See, I thought the tension was being provided by these guys here, but these are merely in place as lead holders to allow the circuit to be complete, and that's for the ground here. So the tension's actually coming from this main spring here. So I'm looking at this piece, I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to give this tension here? Well, there's a tab right down here, and I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, well, look what fits on the end of this tab right here, the spring, the end of the spring. So that's where your tension's going to come from a horizontal direction, and it's vertically getting tension, the whole assembly tension, to keep it all together. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this guy together here now. Within its assembly. So again, I'm going to snake this guy through the hole here. And when my son is older, I'm going to force him to watch this video to its entirety to see how much his old man has to go through when he decides to just yank on chain. So I'm going to put this assembly back in here, like so. Oops, it's upside down. Son of a bitch. There's a lot of swearing involved too. That helps relieve tension and stress when things don't go your way. Here we go. Oh, but now this, okay. Man.
All right, I'm gonna put this assembly together then.
Okay, so we're back in my bedroom here. Just gonna mount these guys back on, and I need both hands for this, so I'll just quickly show. These are the caps for. Ooh, there we go. These are the caps that you usually use in electrical wiring to cap things off. You can see an example of that here, and it just takes two wires and puts them into circuit together. So I'm going to do that black on black, red on red, gray on gray, right here, gray on gray, black on black, and then red on red. So I'm just going to connect those with their respective leads here, and we're going to pop the pole assembly through this hole here. That's why I didn't mount it yet. And we're going to then push everything in, cram it all up in there, and see if it works. So, all right. Okay, so I got that assembly on. It was pretty simple. Just two screws, one up here, one on the other side. My pull tab still works. Hey, look at that, fan's working. And I can turn the lights on. Bingo. Well, we only have one light bulb because it's a little too bright with three, so. Like I said, just bedroom, so it doesn't really matter. But yay, fan works. Awesome. See if you can change settings. And the settings changed just fine. And off. So, great. Thanks for turning that light off. There we go. So, thank you for tuning in. If you had the patience to go through all that, but it's kind of good insight as to. Let me turn this around quick. So, yeah, that was a seemingly simple operation, but you know, it can be a little challenging and stuff. I hope that gave you a little bit of insight as to my thought process while I'm taking stuff apart. And you know, it's all reverse engineering for the most part. You take it apart, try to figure out how to put it back together, and you kind of saw that. I was kind of blanking out as far as where the tension's coming from and stuff, but then, you know, gathered my wits and saw that you know, that one spring required both top was providing both top compression on the whole setup, and and horizontal tension on the actual pull string itself. So, and once I checked out that assembly, that clear plastic assembly, I was able to see that. So, yeah, another project done, another check off the list. I'm going to be going over my workbench in a second. Actually, I'll just knock that out, and I'll just briefly go over like probably the homeowner's most required tools and stuff. But I'll mention that in the other video. So thanks for tuning in, and hope all your fan endeavors work out as well. So, like I said, I'm gonna force my son to watch this when he's older, so he knows how much trouble he causes old man. A good solid hour's worth of work here. So just for 2 seconds worth of pulling on that string. So, all right, thanks.